Welcome to this presentation about the Vancouver Outsider Art Festival. But before we start, I want to first acknowledge the privilege of living and working on this beautiful land that is the unceded territory of the Squamish, Musqueam, and Tsleil-Waututh. I'm Pierre Leichner. I am a multidisciplinary artist and work often with the community on community-engaged projects. I'm also a board member of the Community Arts Council of Vancouver and the Artists Collective of Galerie Gachet. And I have been the artistic director of the Vancouver Outsider Art Festival since the beginning. Karen?
You forgot to mention your hand.
Oh, yes, thank you. By the way, I had some minor surgery to my hand done a couple of days ago. So if you see this happening, that's just, it's fun. It's doing good. Thank you.
You're welcome. Hi, everybody. I am Karen Irving, and I, too, am a visual artist that works in medium of oils and of acrylics in bold and wonderful colors. I am known for being a fashionista and always having that great new outfit on hand. I, too, am part of the Galerie Gachet and am a past member of 3 years of the Vancouver Outside Arts Festival, being on their committee and twice being a workshop presenter.
In this presentation, we will provide you with a very brief history of the context for outsider arts and how it came to Vancouver. We will also give you an overview of the festival, the arts in the festival, and its planning process. Finally, we'll talk about the lesson we learned and possibly some future directions and some of the contacts should you need more information. Well, the origins of outsider art may be traced back to the turn of the last century in Switzerland with the Swiss psychiatric asylum with the artist Adolf Wolfi, who had a prodigious output of wonderful, intricate work. It was picked up again in the 1950s with the surrealists, and in particular Jean Dubuffet, who became very interested in what he called art brut, or raw art, as he thought that this art made by artists and institutions was essentially more pure or less affected by social and market issues. The term outsider art was coined by Roger Cardinal in the 1970s. At that time, it was still really very much about raw art. But since then, outsider art has changed a lot and is debated in terms of a term as it's become much broader and includes things like folk art, visionary, naive art, intuitive art, and so on. We at the Vancouver Outsider Art Festival are pretty broad in our definition. We see outsiderness more as a spectrum. At one end, the insider is definitely the artists that are making a very good living from their art and have art dealers and are recruited into art shows by art galleries. At the other end, there are artists who have little or no access to the mainstream, sometimes as self-taught, or although they may have education, have not been able to have their art shown greatly. And for us, what is important is they do identify themselves as outsider artists. Now, outsider art has been more recognized and developed around the world than possibly in Canada. As this slide shows, there are museums and art galleries that are specialized in showing this work in the US, in Europe, and there are also two art fairs that are well known, the Paris Outsider Art Fair, and the New York Outsider Art Fair. However, those focuses for those art fairs tends to be a bit more based on presenting work that collectors may be interested in. Of note, also, is a publication, Raw Vision, a magazine started in 1989 in the UK that features regularly outsider artists from around the world. So what about the outsider art scene in Vancouver? When I came back to Vancouver in 2011, I became aware that there was relatively few spaces for outsider artists to show their work. The Galerie Gachet in the downtown east side is one place where sometimes such artists could have exhibitions. So working with the support of the Community Arts Council of Vancouver, we developed a proposal for a festival that could be held at the Roundhouse Community Center, and this started in 2017. To give you an idea about what the Outsider Art Festival feels like, we're going to show you now brief segments of videos that were done in 2017 and 2019.
So the theme for this show was outsiders. So I had to focus on what made me an outsider and what does it mean to be an outsider.
The words that come to me in terms of what the Outsider Arts Festival offered me was risk and play.
The town while the residents were asleep.
When I paint, I feel very calm, and I enjoy the balance of getting symmetry in my painting and dealing with asymmetry in my painting, because that's how the world is.
I really enjoy making whimsical characters, vividly saturated elements.
There are things that we throw away every day, but they are precious.
I like to paint stuff that I would like to have done in my life, such as surfing.
I think it's important as performers to feel like we have spaces where we can experiment with audience and in front of people.
Not care so much about if someone's going to buy something or how I'm going to be represented, but just being honest with myself and just going for it.
It's different because I've always wanted to show in galleries, but the opportunities never arose.
Everybody was very supportive here, very supportive. I'm amazed how they kind and supportive are.
Being chosen kind of affirmed me, because all these works were hidden on somebody's cupboard, covered with dust and paper, and the old ones were brushed off, and they feel very happy to be out.
There's a lot of people with talent here that should be seen and exhibited, so it's exciting to be with other people in that kind of experience.
I am very thankful, truly thankful for the support I got here.
This is my first exhibit and I'm really excited. I think that when you live in a certain culture, you always want to look what is outside, but then when you move out of your culture, then you sort of think about your heritage. I feel like half Canadian and half Mexican.
Super Typhoon Haiyan killed 7,000 people in one village. So with this art platform, I want to bring awareness that there is a critical need to really look into the impacts of climate change. And for me, this project has been really dear to me, a lot of passion for me, not only because my family came from Eastern Visayas in Leyte, it is also because everyone is affected by climate change.
When I was in the hospital for the first time after being diagnosed with bipolar disorder, music was sort of the thing that got me through day to day. And after coming out of the hospital, I had this newfound appreciation for what music could do for me in my life and also could do for others in my community. It's the first time that I felt affirmed by a festival for my being self-taught, to the point that they invited me to come perform. And it's really cool when that affirmation comes from the community. At the end of the day, I do art to connect to people, and ending the day with a workshop just kind of seemed perfect.
Karen, now what about the festival values?
So festival values, it's to increase awareness about the outsider art and the artist, and to also foster inclusion and active participation by artists and the public, and to provide eligible visual and performing artists facing social exclusion and other barriers opportunities to showcase their craft.
This is an overview of the festival planning. We want to encourage you to take your time to go through this slide at your leisure. So I just want to point out some of the things that I believe make this our festival different. Following the call out for posters, we offered several sessions in different venues for the applicants to come and be guided step by step with the application process. We would help them write their artist statements and, if necessary, even document their works. Once they were selected, we had other sessions that occurred before the festival where we guided them step by step through the festival, how the installation would occur, the installation, the sales, and so on. Also, important was that throughout the 3-day festival, we had emotional support workers available to participants when they found themselves stressed or anxious for various reasons. And this was also very useful and well received.
This slide talks about the call out for posters, inviting visual artists to apply. These posters are distributed by volunteers in different geographical areas of Vancouver. So we're looking at some of the detailed factual information of the 3 years of the Vancouver Outside Arts Festival. This 2017, as Pierre has just told us, was the first year, and it was extremely well received. It was a 2-day festival, and it was a great platform for all artists. There were 47 visual artists, and the attendance was around 680 people, for a total net sales for the artists of $5,011. I should point out that 100% of the proceeds from artist sales go directly into the pockets of the artists. These are examples of some more art in 2017. We move into 2018. It was a 3-day festival, always in August. The attendance almost doubled. There were 500 pieces of artwork displayed, 74% of the artists sold artwork, and the art sales were $10,000. This, again, is examples of the 2018 Outsider artwork. We're looking at 2019 festival facts. The attendance for this year slightly decreased. There were 148 artists. We have to mention that there always has been group artist organizations that have been in the festivals that have separate wall space. And in 2019 as well, we've done a formal evaluation process with audience and artists. The net proceeds of sales were just slightly higher than 2018 at $10,300.
So Karen, you said group associations. So every year we've had 3 to 4 associations which promote, which have artists work within them, also have an opportunity to show a wall where there'd be a number of artists on that same wall.
This in 2019 is pictures of exhibition wall space to showcase a diversity and range of work.
So we also have every year, which is important to us, workshops that are free to the attendees and, of course, to the public as well. So this is just a sample of some of the workshops that we have been given, such as grant writing, acrylic painting, mosaic, photography. And the graph shows you that the attendance to these workshops has increased each year. Some images of some of the workshops were lino cut block printmaking and a painting workshop.
Well, Pierre, let me speak on this slide.
That's yours, I think.
Being a participant, a visual artist in the Outsider Arts Festival, I also got the opportunity to give 2 workshops. The first one being the business of art. And this was really important for artists because it gave them information on how to price their art, how to talk about their branding and so forth. From 2017 and 19, these are some samples of some performances that we had. So from Vancouver Cantonese opera to high and low choirs. It was just amazing, the diversity.
Yes. So these performances were held either in a separate theater or they were held within the main hall. There are many of these outcomes of our festival that we recognize were quite successful. We saw the growth and recognition of the festival and increased artist participation. It's important to us to say again that 100% of sales went to the artist. We saw this creativity and talent and this networking develop. Out of this also came a couple satellite type of events, in particular a connection salon, which has also shown outsider artists that has been developed by artists that participated in the Outsider Art Festival. We did a survey, a feedback survey of participants and the public. What I want to point out mostly for this slide is that overall, the public was very positive on many of the aspects of the festival. They found it well run. There was a great experience of meeting the artists. We really encourage artists to be there throughout the festival, to talk to the audience. There were issues about better signage, a better sound system that would not be interfering, and also more need for more promotion. Now, we also asked the artists for their feedback, and similarly, really a high positive feedback. They really were grateful for being included. They enjoyed talking to the public. It was definitely self-affirming for many of them. We did have over 50 individual artists exhibiting, and there was a great opportunity for them to learn and to collaborate. Promotion, better social media, and signage were again highlighted as places to improve. The performers had a very similar type of experience. However, they did some mention, of course, they would like a better or larger audience attendance. Now, we do have a number of opportunities from this to improve our festival. Karen?
Thank you, Pierre. So, signage for the festival, fundraising, workshops, promotion, increased space for artists, control volume for performances promotion, expand social media coverage, organization committee.
Yeah, I think we have learned to increase the size and better organize the structure of the organization committee.
Great. Volunteer retention and evaluation process.
Well, of course, COVID-19 did affect this year. Before it hit, we had improved our organization committee by creating working groups with several separate roles and responsibilities, improved outreach and communication. During the time that COVID-19 hit, we used this time to send a survey to artists about to get their opinion on how we should move forward. And based on this information, we decided to use more online events and also to move to smaller events, hopefully, during the rest of the year. If you want further information about the festival, these are obviously available on the website of the Community Arts Council of Vancouver. If you need any more information or have any questions about this presentation, please do not hesitate to contact us.
And thank you so much for joining us.